Hello, this is Diana. This is my Trailblazers of the Universe YouTube channel. On my channel, I am helping you fearlessly and unapologetically live your best, most authentic life. I am helping you break through your barriers and transcend limitations you may have. If that sounds good to you, make sure to hit those like and subscribe buttons. So, today's weekly intuitive message is basically going to be a little bit my description or my explanation of why letting go is so difficult for some people. And I think it's really relevant with, we just had a full moon in Aquarius. We're in the middle of the Lion's Gate portal. I believe when I post this, it will be on the 8th, which is going to be the peak of the portal. I made a video on it, check it out if you haven't seen it already, where I gave a very in-depth description of what comes up for some people. But regardless of what you're experiencing, some people experience unconditional love and bliss and higher vibrational energy. Some people, if you haven't done a lot of shadow work, it's going to be like intense. It's going to bring a lot of awareness to the things you need to let go of, and the things that don't resonate with your higher self or with the frequency shift of the planet that we're going through right now. I want to explain why letting go is so hard. People can't let go of things because people have attached certain things, people, experiences, even trauma, to their identity. So when we're trying to release these things, let them go, a lot of people self-sabotage, right? They'll end up going back to their old self, doing something, if something good comes in, and trying to make changes to be a better version and to shift with the frequency of the planet, right? Remove their optimal timeline. Some people will self-sabotage. So their subconscious doesn't believe that that's the real version of them, right? The subconscious wants to bring you back to normal, wants to bring you back to what's safe and what's comfortable for you, what's normal, right? It's also a defense mechanism, right? So that's why it can be scary. Your ego's freaking out. Even your subconscious freaking out, like, oh, this isn't alignment. Oh, this isn't what we've been doing. Oh, this feels brand new, right? So that's why it can feel very uncomfortable. But the thing is, people can't let go of these things because we've attached so much meaning to these things. Some people are even really attached to their trauma. I'm someone that, I told you I'm with your substance addiction, all that stuff, right? And when I would go into those meetings, some people didn't know who they were without like saying I'm an addict or I have mental health issues, right? I used to be one of those people that also struggle with mental health issues as well. I used to say I'm bipolar and all that stuff, right? And I did have that running in my family, but at this point I don't believe that I really am. I was diagnosed that way, right? I had the mood swings, but I was also on substances. I also just didn't have good coping mechanisms to deal with my mood swings, to deal with my energy. I have a lot of energy and I didn't know what to do with it. It was hard for me to let go of saying I'm bipolar or even I'm an addict, right? We become almost attached to our trauma, form an identity from that. When you pull the rug from underneath someone, it can be scary, right? It's like, who am I? People have an existential crisis. So also with the frequency shifts that are going on the planet, right? The truth is coming out, the being revealed, right? We're at the age of Aquarius, and things that are very evil that have been going on for a while are coming to the surface. And some people say, well, why are these people rejecting you? They're just ignorant, or ignorance is bliss, right? It's not even that. Well, sometimes that is the case, but it's like some people can't they can't fathom that everything they believed in about the world, about the economy, about even themselves, right? About who they are. We've been programmed about our history, who we are, but we've been, obviously people are having a spiritual awakening right now. We realize that we're spiritual beings having a temporary human experience, and we're realizing that we aren't all that we've been told that we are. There's been a lot that's been left out for purposes to control us, keep us in fear, right? Keep us in these lower frequencies. That can be really feel chaotic for a lot of people. It can be really scary. People don't know who they are. When people can't define themselves with a label, when people don't have that sense of identity, they freak out, right? The ego freaks out. The ego wants to have that identity, right? So we say we're going to 3D to 5D. I don't like using all this terminology, right? But it's less from the ego, more into the heart space. It's less from separation consciousness, more into unity consciousness, right? So a lot of people, their whole lives, they've been separated, right? With race, with gender, with different economic classes, right? We've been told that this is all we are. Like, we're so used to giving a label for something, or belonging to this category, belonging to this. So that's why it can be very difficult for people to let go of that, because we've been programmed that our whole life, right? We believe we were this, we're told we were this, and then it's like, the rug is pulled from underneath your feet, right? It's a big reason that it can be chaotic for a lot of people. When people don't have a sense of identity, they freak out, right? So what do we do about this? So, I mean, that's part of the reason we're here on this planet. We forgot who we were, right? And we're remembering who we are. And a lot of what we are is everything, all is one, right? The unity consciousness, we all are one. And that scares some people when people have been taught to be separate from another, that you are different from this person, that you're better than this person, right? All in the ego. The ego freaks out when it can't give itself that definition, and especially if you have anything like abandonment issues, maybe any childhood trauma, or any kind of programming that says you're unworthy, which is pretty much everywhere, whether it's from your parents, whether it's from society, whether it's from the news, the media, right? We can go into beauty standards, right? We can go into your worth being defined by how much money you make, or your status in society, right? All that stuff. So a lot of people are realizing, they're waking up to who they truly are. They're saying, hey, this isn't who I am. I'm actually a lot more than that, or they're just saying, who am I? They don't know, right? And some of the people that are farther along this healing journey and this ascension process and raising their frequency, vibration, shifting their consciousness, you know, they're already learning who they are. They're realizing that this isn't all there is. Then you have some people that are like complete shock, right? So we need to be compassionate, understand these people. I think some people get into spiritual narcissism. Some people think that they're more awakened than someone else, or that they're at higher vibration or whatever, and that's also separation consciousness. So I think it's important to be understanding of that, and realizing that it's going to be hard for some people to let go of. Some people can let go of this stuff easily, but so there's some people who've been practicing non-attachment for a while, right, who are more spiritual maybe, but it's people that are very attached to the system, people that are really attached to their ego, attached to their status, the labels society have given them. That's going to be very hard for them. And you know, even for me, you know, I'm letting go of more materialism and stuff. I'm realizing that I feel like I was very programmed to consume a lot, and I'm working on living with less. You know, I still like nice things, don't get me wrong. I like more the fancy lifestyle, right? And now I'm learning that, you know, I don't know if all that stuff's really needed, and you know, I could be okay with a little bit less. Not to say I shouldn't enjoy myself, enjoy these things, but you know, that's something I'm learning to let go of, and it was also costing me a lot. But that's just one thing about letting go of stuff. But I've also created an identity around that too, right? I got into this matrix job. I've been matrix jobs for a while, right? I got into the whole materialism thing, doing things for beauty, right? Things like that. And I'm learning to let go of that. But some people, it's a lot more than just that. It's letting go of everything they thought they were. Like, I've always been spiritual and everything, but, you know, everyone has different things to let go of, right? So just be compassionate, man. Some people, they're freaking out because, like, that's all they knew. Some people aren't even spiritual, or they haven't gone through an awakening process. Some people, they're just waking up now. This is the time of the Great Awakening. I also made a podcast on the Great Awakening. Check out my Trailblazers of the Universe podcast. It's on Spotify, Apple, Google, and Podbean as well, where I talked about the Great Awakening and the consciousness shift. I just recorded an episode on that, where I described that a little more in detail. So, also, people have trouble letting go of pain and of trauma, right? Because they identify themselves with that, like I said. So, you know, as people are letting go of these heavy, dense emotions that are keeping us stuck in this 3D reality, or stuck in a lower, or not in our optimal timeline, in a lower vibrational reality, you know, people become attached to that as well. People become attached to misery. People become attached to anger. People become attached to emotionally reacting. It almost gives them a high sometimes, right? You gotta think of what it's doing chemically when you're constantly under stress, constantly been through trauma. I'm someone that's also overcoming trauma as well. You know, with my mom ended her life, last Lionsgate portal last year. So I'm also letting go of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Always expecting like crazy things to happen, and I alchemize it. I know how to like transmute all that stuff, but even that's hard for me. And I feel like I've come a long way, and I know overcoming addiction, all that stuff. And then this is the next thing. I'm used to like that excitement, that jolt, you know, and I'm learning that I can let go of the trauma as well. I don't need to live like that. I can live in peace. You know, we do have choices, and sometimes the choices might not be what we're used to, but realize that the life we want, the optimal timeline, all that stuff, the life we want, shifting to a higher frequency, shifting to getting more aligned with our higher self is through the shadow work. It's going within. It's on the other side of that fear. It's on the other side of your comfort zone. If you're having trouble letting go of something, whatever it is, that's what's in your way of shifting to your optimal timeline. That's what's in your way of being more aligned with your higher self, of shifting your frequency, vibration. So I think the big thing is just accepting that it's part of the process. Letting go is part of the process. Change is the only constant, right? So really sit back yourself. If you're really having trouble letting go of something, really sit back and say, why is this so hard to let go of? And if you keep asking why, you'll find out there's some attachment you have to it. It's usually something attached to your identity, or maybe there's a fear attached to it. So really journal it out, meditate. Right now it's Lionsgate. Like I said, the veil is thin right now. It's a good time to get the guidance from your spirit guides to go with it and meditate and really figure out, ask, what can you do to let go of this? You know, some people get healing sessions, some people do therapy, some people just journal, some people, trauma is stored in their body, some people need to release it. I'm actually doing more working out now and hiking and stuff, grounding in nature and stuff to get rid of some of my trauma and stuff. But you can really ask the question, go within. How can I let this go? What do I need to do to make this letting go process easier? Because you ever heard the proverb, let go or be dragged? Well, you know, if you continue to hold on to these things, you know, you're gonna keep seeing things come up that are very in your face, like you need to let go of this, or it's bringing awareness to what you need to let go of. It's because it's because it causes a lot of misery, suffering, and pain. That's how you'll know, because you're gonna feel very heavy emotions with this. So go within, find out what you need to let go of, and a lot of it just accepting that that's part of the process, and that letting go is going to help you become the better version of yourself. Going within and letting go of what no longer serves. That's all I have for today. If you like this content, hit those like and subscribe buttons. I also have a Facebook group, an Instagram, and a TikTok. The links are in this video description and in my channel description. I also offer intuitive transformational coaching. You can help getting your life together, going through a dark time, spiritual awakening, dark night of the soul, toxic relationships, any kind of grief or trauma, addictions, all that. I can help guide you through it. I've learned to really transform my life and overcome a lot and become an alchemist as well. Have a good day. Namaste.